What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing what you could potentially do, if you're holding the bag from these recent SPAC mergers and things didn't go our way. And if you have quite a few shares that you are not too fond of, how you can make some money on them while you're waiting for things to get better. Before we get into it, if you guys don't mind just dropping a like and hitting subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And definitely check out the free Discord server in the description below. We have a ton of people in there, and we're always talking. It gets kind of rowdy, but it's pretty funny. So if you're bored, come stop by and hang out. Also wanted to give a shout out to For the Win Kicks. This guy's in my Discord, and super awesome guy. Sent me a free pair of shoes, and they're really comfortable. So I just wanted to give him a shout out and go check out their site and all the shoes they have. There's also some links in the description to some free stocks on Robinhood and Webull. And let's get into it. So like I mentioned, a lot of people feel stuck right now, and they feel like they're holding a bag, a ton of stocks that they just aren't very fond of at the moment. And they don't want to sell at a loss because no one wants to sell at a loss. And basically, the way to counter this and make some money while you're waiting for things to get better is to sell a covered call. And a covered call is a popular option strategy used to generate income from investors who think the prices of the stock are unlikely to rise much in the near term. However, if you're not long on this position and you're just trying to get your money back, then you can play closer to the current price because you're not afraid of having to sell these shares. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. A covered call is constructed by holding a long position in a stock and then selling, so you're writing the call option on the same asset, representing the same size as the underlying long position. A covered call will limit the investor's potential upside profit and will also not offer much protection if the price of the stock drops. So what is a covered call? You are entitled to several rights as a stock or futures contract owner, including the right to sell the security at any time for the market price. Covered call writing sells this right to someone else in exchange for a premium, meaning the buyer of the option gets the right to own your security on or before expiration date at a predetermined price called the strike price. So basically, the buyer pays the seller of the call option a premium to obtain the right to those shares at a predetermined future price. You keep that premium right away. That goes into your account, and it's yours 100%. And basically, the covered call is most profitable if the stock moves up to the strike price, generating profit from your long position, while the call that was sold expires worthless. So you don't want it to actually hit the strike, just get near it, allowing the call writer to collect the entire premium from its sale. Like I mentioned, you are getting paid to give up your right to these shares, and the downside is, say you bought all these shares at an average cost of $50, and you don't think this thing's going to go up to $60, so you're going to write the strike for $55. Because if you get assigned, you're okay with selling all your shares for $5 profit per share. And you get rid of these and you're getting premium. So the only downside is if they have all your shares in a contract and this thing goes to $70, well, you can't sell out because they have your contract and you're missing that upside potential. So that's just something to think about. So the advantages to selling covered calls, you're basically limiting your downside risk and adding to your upside return by collecting that premium and setting a price that you're okay with selling all your shares at, likely above your average cost. So that way, there's no way you can lose money. Only pretty much risking further upside potential. But, that's the risk that you're taking. Basically, if this period of your contract ends below the strike price, well, then you just collected premium and you still have all your shares. And if it ends above your strike price, then you just collected premium and sold all your shares at a gain. So the risks of covered calls that I've found would be that call sellers have to hold on to underlying shares or contracts, or they're going to be holding naked calls, which have theoretically unlimited loss potential if the underlying security rises. Therefore, sellers need to buy back options before expiration if they want to sell shares or contracts, increasing transaction costs while lowering net gains or increasing net losses. So this is called buying to close, and usually people wait until pretty close to expiration, but you can do this at any time. So usually people wait until the contract's almost worthless, say around $10 to $20, and you just buy to close, and you're paying $10 to close that. So that could be deducted from the premium you were originally paid, or just straight out of your buying power. So the bottom line, use covered calls to decrease the cost basis or to gain income from shares or future contracts, adding a profit generator to stock or contract ownership. Okay, so let's just break it down. Pretty simple here, and then we will get into a quick example. So you could use, let's say you had 150 shares. You could use 100 shares to collect premium with, and then 50 shares in case you're forced to sell to still experience that upside potential. So the only risk of all this is pretty much it shooting up, and you won't be able to take advantage of the gains. Another thing to understand is that you don't want to sell below your average, because say you pick a strike below your average and it's exercised, well, you just sold at a loss, and you really don't want to do that. So as we said, you have an average cost of like $40. Well, let's just pick that. You want to pick a strike like a $45 strike or a $50 strike. Whatever you're comfortable with, whatever profit margin you want, pick that one. And at least it doesn't feel as bad holding something long term if you're getting paid premium to hold it. Another thing we need to do is close the contracts, and basically you're just going to buy to close this, like I mentioned, and you pretty much wait close to expiration for this. This is something I really want to get into, and I'm probably going to start doing more of in the near future. I've done this on a couple, but this is an amazing way to generate some money. You wanted to sell a covered call with all your highly on shares that you're sitting on right now, and you don't see this thing, going super high in the next few weeks. So basically, you're going to go to trade options, and you're going to hit sell a call. And let's say you bought into this a little late. You bought in at $35, and you're looking to sell the 40 or 45. So you could pick something like October 30th. So you're giving people 2 weeks on this, and you want to sell, above 35. So let's pick 42. So if you're selling that, it's going to look like this. It's going to say a short call, and you're selling the 1030 42 strike price, and you're going to make a total credit of $85. And you're going to make that right away as soon as it's filled. And basically, you need to have 100 shares to do this, and if it hits that 42 and everything's exercised and people are really bullish, and say the price even goes beyond that 42, it goes to 50, and someone wants to buy your 100 shares for $42 because obviously their average cost would be well below what it's currently at, then you missed that upside potential, but you still sold at a $7 gain from what you bought. So you made $700 plus this 85. So it's a great strategy to use, especially on something that's pretty bearish right now, and a lot of people don't see this thing going up. But just know that you could miss out on potential gains, but I think this is a great strategy to use. So that's pretty much it, guys. That is basically a covered call. Now, there's tons of videos on YouTube about it. I know In the Money, that guy's awesome. He has a ton of good videos. Check out his channel if you still don't understand it. I really like this strategy. I'm definitely going to get into doing this a lot more. It's much safer, and you win all the time rather than buying the options. Most people who buy options end up losing. So I hope this helped you guys. I hope it gives you an idea of what to do if you feel like you're holding a ton of shares that you're disgusted with right now. Not to say that these companies are bad, but in the short term, things aren't looking too hot. Not to say that in the long term, they won't be great. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, and have a good one.
Stacking vertical, ooh, counting sideways, ooh, aim by my cake, ooh, get out my face.